What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today is part number 1 of installing the bags onto the E30. So today is going to be kind of like the preparation in order to install the bags, and we're also going to be knocking out the suspension part of it. But as far as like the management go and everything, I can't do that just yet. I'm waiting for an air tank, my water trap, and my air lines to arrive, which are going to get here on Thursday. Today is actually Wednesday, so they're going to get here tomorrow. But I definitely want to get the suspension components installed onto the car, which is probably, I want to say, probably going to be the hardest, but it's really not that hard to install the suspension onto it. But I at least want to have that done today, so we just have the management to do, which is going to be tomorrow. But I want to get the suspension stuff knocked out. So I already have the front struts here. This is going to help out a lot because it's going to be a direct swap. You guys already know how E30s are. The front suspension is always hard when you're doing like coilovers and bags and stuff like that. But I bought this used about, I want to say like a year ago, which was going to go on my V8 E30. But my plans changed with that car. I'm going to be doing a coilover system on it because I think it's just going to be a lot better than running bags on it. And the things that I want to do with it, coilovers suit it a lot more. So we're going to be installing these onto this E30 since this is going to be my stance build, not that fast. And yeah, it should be pretty cool with that. But that's definitely going to help out a lot with the install of the suspension because, like I said, front struts on E30s and doing all the welding and all that stuff is a huge mess. Since I already have all of this, it's just a direct bolt on and should be very, very simple to do. Brand new AirLift rear kit. I'll probably end up getting an AirLift kit down the road for the fronts, but for now I'm just going to use this since I already have it. It's universal airbags with ground control camber plates, but just to match like the entire setup that I have on the car, I'll probably just do AirLift down the road. But since I already have it, might as well use it and not spend the money right now and just get this thing on bags already and just see how it looks. If I don't like it, I will upgrade it right away. But if it's not necessary, I'll just wait later on and just upgrade it. Probably the rotors as well, since they're all super rusty and everything. But yeah, we'll take care of that later. I do want to get a little head start right now on the management setup, or at least just like kind of prepare myself. But I'm going to rip out the front driver's seat and the rear seats because I'm going to be running my harness and my 2 front air lines through underneath the carpet, just like how I did on my E90. Underneath the steering column, take out the 2 air lines probably through the steering column, connect it to the front left strut assembly, and then the other one go over the bay and heat wrap it, connect it over there. That should be good. Harness is going to be around the same way, underneath the carpet, bring it out through the center console. USB is going to connect to the controller right there, mount it on the air vents, and then I might go into the fuse box, or I might just tap it into the cigarette lighter, just depending on what I really want to do. Actually, tapping into the cigarette lighter will probably not be a good idea because it has power at all times for some reason. Like I can literally charge my phone, which I think is pretty cool, but that's going to kill my battery if I do have the controller on at all times. So I will probably go into the fuse box or something that has ignition power, and then we'll just go based off of that. But let's take out the front seat and the rear seats, and then hopefully we can find some kind of hole to bring out the air lines and the harness through it. We're gonna run it underneath the carpet, and then that will be our little preparation for our air management setup. So let's do it. Trunk setup is going to be pretty cool, which you guys are going to see in the next video. But I do want to give you guys a little rundown on how I'm going to do it. I watched a video from Luke Anderson when he bagged one of his friend's cars, and I really like the setup that he did. He mounted everything inside of the spare tire wheel well, which I think is really, really cool because I'm big on having trunk space since I'm always hauling parts, or I just always like to use my trunk space. I always use it for like everything. So I have that circular wooden board right there, which is going to be mounted inside of the spare tire wheel well. Air tank, compressor, manifold, all that stuff is going to be mounted on that wooden board, placed inside of the spare tire wheel well, and we're still going to have all this trunk space. So I'm really big on that. I just want to have all my trunk space to me since I'm always using it. But that's going to be the trunk setup that I'm going with. Nothing fancy. I was going to go with like hardwood and like do aluminum hard lines and everything and make it look really, really cool, like a show trunk and everything. But I did realize after the fact that I'm always using my trunk, and I think it's going to kind of suck having a wooden trunk and then potentially like scratch it, ruin it, and it's just not really the thing that I want to go with. So we're going to be doing that setup on the spare tire wheel well. Gotta take off the back ones with a wrench because for some reason I can't get the seat to go a little bit more forward, so damn it. Seats are now out of the car, and just so you guys have an idea of where I'm going to run my airlines through, the two that go to the front and as well as the harness, there is a grommet right here for the body harness that goes to the back that has access to the trunk right there. So I'm probably going to drill a second hole next to this harness here, just make sure I don't hit it. And then our airlines, our harness is going to run through there, bring it along the OEM body harness, as you guys see, comes through right there, get in between the carpet, and then we can tuck it all along, bring it to the very front, airlines go out, harness goes to the middle, bring it up to the controller, and pretty straightforward. So that's pretty cool that there's a grommet there. So that's gonna be it for the interior pieces. I just wanted to get a little head start on that, so I don't have to do tomorrow and already have an idea of where I'm gonna route my airlines, my harness, and all that stuff. So it's always good to go in with the plan. But now we can get the car on jack stands and finally begin starting off with the suspension. So I'm gonna get it on jack stands real quick, take off all the wheels. Pretty sure you guys don't want to see that, so let me do that real quick. I'll show you guys. I'm gonna start off with the fronts. I think the fronts are gonna be a lot easier, literally just a matter of taking off the front assembly and just replacing it with that one. So what is it? Just removing the steering rack, disconnecting the control arm, and removing the brake caliper, disconnecting all the sensors for the brakes. And I think that's honestly about it. So it should be a very, very quick swap. So still got to undo these bolts here, and that's pretty much it. So it should be pretty simple. So let's get started with the fronts, knock them out real fast, and we'll move on to the rear. So let's get it. So I've been fighting to try to remove this control arm ball joint, but I cannot get it separated from the knuckle. So I'm gonna have to go to Harbor Freight and get a separator tool for the ball joints. I was surprised on how fast I was able to get the steering rack one out. That one came out like right away, you guys saw that. But I tried using the torch for a very, very long time, and then I tried hitting it, it still wouldn't come out. So it's pretty seized on there. So I'm gonna go buy the tool. I mean, it's gonna help me out later down the road. I'm gonna replace these control arms because the bushings weren't really that good, and I kind of messed them up with the heat. So new control arms are gonna be going on soon. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go with E46 ones, just depending on how much camber I do need. I might upgrade to E46 ones, or I might just go with stock ones, just depending on how much camber I need. But I'm gonna go get the tool real quick, and then we'll get this thing on, and we'll continue on with installing the air. Back from Harbor Freight, I got the tool right here. It was only $25, and I really hope that this works. Kind of seems too cheap to be true, but we're gonna see right now if it actually works. Has a little pickle fork right there. I believe this goes on top where the nut is at, and it has a bolt right here, which I believe you just screw it in, and as you screw it in, it should start separating the ball joint from the knuckle. It also has a pin, and I believe that's just for like length adjustment of your ball joint. We'll see right now. We'll put it to work and see if this was actually worth it. So let's try it out. God damn. Well, it's out. Didn't expect it to pop out like that. That scared me. It's out, but damn, this tool is really dangerous. I mean, it took it out, so that's really cool. Nice $25 tool, but I honestly did not expect it to come out with so much pressure. But I mean, now I know better, and just to be careful with the other side. If I would have had my head like somewhere near there, or my hand, that shit would have fucked me up. Like, that shit would honestly hurt. Came out with so much pressure, but I mean, it's out. And damn, this bushing's all worn out. So new control arms will be going on soon. And now we got this handy dandy tool right here, so that's cool. Okay, I'm gonna have to get it with my hand because I don't want it to fall on the floor. So, and there it is. One of them is out. This thing's heavy. Alright guys, so I have some extremely bad news, and I'm trying so hard to not be mad about it, but it's just one of those situations that really freaking suck. Pretty much all the work that I just did right now is completely useless because the wheels don't fit. Not just the bore bit wheels because they're too aggressive, but not even a bottle cap wheel, guys. Like a bottle cap stock BMW wheel, stock BMW E30 wheel does not fit on this strut assembly that I bought. I bought it about a year ago, so I honestly don't even care about the money, but I'm just more upset at the fact that this doesn't fit and my car is not going to be bagged by the end of the week, because I was just so excited about it and I was just so hyped to see it on some nice fitment with the bore bit wheels and everything, and I'm pretty sure you guys are pretty stoked about it. But I mean, it's a bummer, but I'm gonna order the AirLift front kit today. Either way, I planned on upgrading to it because I already have a brand new AirLift kit for the rear, so it only made sense to match everything, and it's just gonna make me feel more comfortable overall knowing that I have quality air ride parts in the front. This setup that I ended up buying looked like completely haggard in my opinion, and I knew that it was probably too good to be true, but I mean, there it is. Shouldn't buy used suspension parts. I'm always iffy about buying parts like that, especially when it comes down to suspension, because you really don't know what you're getting until you actually install the parts. That's why I hate buying used parts. I mean, bumpers and stuff like that, yeah, you can buy it used, but when it comes down to like suspension stuff, that's definitely not the thing that you want to cheap out on, because I mean, you're gonna get into a situation like this. But whatever, I don't care about it anymore. I'm gonna order the AirLift kit tonight for the front, and that should probably come in the mail, I want to say sometime next week. And by the time I have it welded onto the stock strut that I have out right here, it's probably going to be like another week or so. So it's definitely going to take a little bit more time, and it's going to be a while until this E30 is actually bagged and the fitment is all dialed in 100%. But it's totally going to be worth the wait. I'd rather do it right than just do anything wrong and just rush anything and then it causes more issues down the road. But I'm just going to try to actually make this wheel fit. It's kind of rubbing right now. I have a 15mm spacer on it with I think a 8 or 10mm spacer behind that 15mm spacer, and it still doesn't fit. It rubs just a little bit, and I might be able to get it to roll. Like the wheel kind of rolls, so you see I have to put a little bit of pressure on it, but I'm probably just gonna leave it like that and do the same thing with the other side, because like I said, I have to get these welded with the front kit that I'm gonna order. So it still makes sense to install the other side, because I don't want to leave this car on jack stands for sure. I still want it to be like rollable in case I have to move it out and do something in my garage while I wait for like about 2 weeks. That's a very long time. So, that's gonna be the game plan, but I'm just not gonna show you guys any more of the front stuff since it was a complete waste of time. I'm probably gonna install it tomorrow. I'm really trying my hardest to not be mad about this whole situation, because it just sucks that my E30 is not gonna be bagged until like I want to say maybe 3 weeks from now. It is going to be a while, but let's just get moving on to the rear. I have the full rear kit right here. It comes with the installation guide, has all the instructions to install it, but it's pretty straightforward. It's not really that many parts that you actually have to install. You have a template right here, which is going to be used in order to drill the hole for the steel braided airline, which is going to connect to the top of the airbag. If you guys don't have the template, or you guys don't have this booklet and you bought like a used kit, you can actually download this from the AirLift website as a PDF, and then you can print it out and then do the same thing, mock it up, and then you can cut and drill your hole or whatever. So let's get moving on to this one. We're gonna have to take off obviously the stock strut, stock spring. Have to take off all these carpet moldings to access obviously the top nut for the shock, so we can get it out. So let's get to work on it. Now it's time to cut off the spring seat. What you want to do is just cut it down to 24 millimeters, but if you don't have the appropriate measuring tools like I don't, it's going to be hard to actually get the correct measurements of it. But I'm just going to cut it off. I'm going to wing it a little bit. I'm going to cut off just the round section of it and kind of just leave it flat, and just probably go short in the beginning. And if I need to make more adjustments with it, I'm just going to grind it down a little bit more. And you got to do the same thing with the bottom one. Just test fit the spring afterwards. There shouldn't be a gap in between this and the air spring, so just continuously keep test fitting it until you don't have that gap anymore. Let me show you guys the booklet just so you guys have a better idea of what I mean. So if you guys look at this picture here, you guys can see that they're pretty much cutting off just the round section of the spring seat, and it should look like that once you're all done. And then the air spring, once is completely sat and installed on there, it should look like that. So you guys see that there's no gap in between that top plate and the air spring. So I would say just start small if you don't have a measuring tool, and then just continuously like grind it down until it's pretty much perfect. So that's what I'm gonna do, since I don't have a tool to measure the millimeters of this, but I mean, it's not really that hard. So yeah. Okay, so I think this came out pretty good. We're all done. Nice and flush on the bottom, nice and flush up on top. And now we can move on to drilling the hole up here, which I already have the template. So I'm just gonna tape this down using some masking tape. Tape it right there straight in the center, and obviously drill it right there on the cross. Has a little indentation for it. You guys can see it. Won't focus, but there is a little cross right there where you're pretty much just gonna drill your hole. So I'm gonna go and do that right now, and I think that's pretty much it. Pretty easy, so let's do it. Alright, so I just finished up doing the rear. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. It wasn't really that bad. I would say the hardest part is probably just doing the cuts for the spring seats, and as well as drilling the hole, but even that, it wasn't really that hard. But got it all done. New shock is in, new air spring is in, sitting nice and flush against the body. Pretty easy to do. I'm not gonna lie, working on an E30 is very, very simple. You literally have just 2 bolts up on top that's holding the shock to the top, and then you have one 19mm bolt on the side right here. Shock is out, drops the whole assembly, and the spring comes out. Literally that easy. You have 3 bolts holding the shock and the spring together, and it literally just comes out like that. But now I'm gonna get to working on the other side. It's pretty much the same exact thing as the side that we just did right now, so pretty much pointless to show you guys the work again twice. But I'm gonna get to doing this side. It looks like there's probably a bad axle. I think I'm gonna have to replace it. Like, look at all the grease. I'm not sure if you guys can see it on camera. You can kind of see it. It's not focusing, but the axle's throwing out a lot of grease, and it's all over the shock, all over the spring. So that's great news. I'm gonna go ahead and knock out this side real fast, and I'll show you guys it once it's all done. Alright guys, I just finished doing the right hand side of the rear, and it's pretty much ready to go. The entire rear of the car is ready, but unfortunately I was not able to get the fronts done. You guys already saw the issues that we ran into, so it kind of sucks on that. It's gonna be a bit of a wait. I want to say about like 2 weeks until I get the fronts installed. I already did order the airlift kit for the front, but it's gonna be, I want to say, like a week until it gets here. And then as soon as it gets here, we still have to weld it onto the stock strut. So I want to say like a minimum of 2 weeks until we have the fronts installed and until this car is on the floor. So kind of sucks, but it is what it is, and I just can't really stress out too much about it. It already happened. So on a good note, the air tank, the air lines, the water trap did just come in the mail right now. So I'm about to start cleaning up the garage right now, clean up this mess that I have, and I'm going to start filming the second video, which is going to be focused on installing the entire management into the car. So doing the trunk setup, getting the air lines routed, the harness routed to the front, getting power to it, and just pretty much doing like the electrical and the more like plumbing side of things, and just get that done. But do expect a third video for the airlift kit install for the front as soon as I do get it in the mail, which is going to be, like I said, about like 2 weeks, which really sucks because I wanted to make this into 2 videos so bad, but I just really shot myself in the foot with that used suspension that I bought. So lesson learned, do not buy any used suspension parts. I personally never like to buy, or I've never bought used suspension parts aside from this one, and the time that I did, I ended up getting something like this, which, you know, really sucks. It's gonna, you know, set me back a little bit, and it's gonna take a lot longer to actually get this car on the floor. But it is what it is. Cannot stress out about it. I won't do it again. I already learned my lesson, and I hope you guys learned something from it as well. Just buy it brand new. It's so much more worth it. You probably get warranty, and it's just a lot better having that peace of mind that you have brand new suspension parts and that you even have warranty in case anything does go wrong. Like, just do not buy used suspension parts. But anyways, enough ranting. That's gonna be the end of today's video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you guys slap that thumbs up for me, drop a comment down below, subscribe if you guys haven't already, and just make sure you guys stay tuned for the next 2 videos, which are going to be focused on the management and the front airlift kit as soon as it does get here. But thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later guys.